Good morning. I have 10 seconds to explain what you have to explain in 5 seconds about what it is you don't like about the onset of winter. Time starts now. Frozen windscreens, doors that don't want to open, batteries going flat. And in particular, diesel engines. Diesel engines require an awful lot of power to get going, especially in the cold. And in the cold, they don't even get that hot. So you can arrive at work with 15 minutes of just being jolly cold. But that's not the end of it. This particular car, the Rover 45, now has decided to have a sticking caliper. So today I'm going to endure the cold. I don't think it's going to change, to try and make it better. One solution to a sticky rear caliper is to just simply not use the brakes, then it won't stick. Been there, done that, but like everybody else, I couldn't find a t-shirt that fits, so that means you have to use them even if you don't want to do. What are the classic symptoms of a binding brake caliper, I hear you ask? Your car slowing down without you touching the brakes. The feel of it rocking on one corner as you set off. The wheel looking much dirtier than it should do, considering. The smell of something less than pleasant getting very hot. Poor braking performance. And a rather curious bumping feel from within the wheel, almost like you've got a flat tyre, but you haven't. Although, of course, for some people, they wouldn't notice these things. The eventual effect is the brakes not working, the brake fluid boiling, and then not being able to stop. So give yourself a pat on the back if you happen to notice any of these symptoms and do something about it before your car catches fire. Hopefully this car will have a lock-in wheel nut key somewhere about it. And it does. Look, there they are. As we can see here, the disc is relatively new. The caliper looks like it might be new. So I'm going to take the sliders out and grease them up. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, what I have done here is to simply take the wheel off, take the caliper off, and re-grease the sliders. That's those things there. Hopefully that'll make a difference. Back together. I put that back together in the time it took to boil the kettle. And I'm kind of, well, suspicious now. Suspicious, yeah. I feel something's not working here. I don't get it. Why did they manage? How did it go back together so easily? How did it come apart so easily? Yesterday, I was working on Nigel and went and left my breaker bar in the boot. It's not the only one I've got. I've got about 3, but I don't know where they are. But those wheel nuts came off with a ratchet. Easy. It was all a bit too easy. And the sliders did have grease on. So I'm worried that I'm going to put it back together and it's not going to make any difference. Clearly, the next thing to do is test drive. Let's hope it goes better than the one yesterday, where it didn't make any difference. Because I've just put this back together, my instinct is to try not to use the brakes at all. Not because I'm afraid I haven't put it back together properly, because I'm afraid of it sticking again. But that's the whole point of me taking this car out, to find out if it works or not, isn't it? Yes, it is. So actually what I need to do is the opposite. I would quite like this car to work out because it is a tidy, respectable looking thing. It's clearly had some care taken over it. It's just obviously the body shell needing a bit of work. But I'm confident I can do that. I'm doing it again. I've just got to a junction there. I didn't touch the brakes once. Half the trouble may be is that actually I've always tried to drive without touching the brakes. That means that on one way you could easily end up and be more likely to start to seize up. So maybe I'm my own worst enemy. A bit like trying to drive too economically. After a while, the engine starts to say, "Oh, come on, let's do something." And like like the person who reserves all their energy for another day and just spends most of their time sat on the couch, they end up with no energy. Right, foot on brake, and then if I just lift the clutch up ever so slightly, as it was, the back end would dip on one side. No, it's not doing it. No. That's a good sign. Maybe that caliper's been slowing it down as well, because that feels a bit quicker suddenly. Gosh, it feels really good, this car, actually. If only the seats were just a bit more comfortable. A little while back I was saying that this car doesn't seem to go quite as well as it should do, and that maybe the exhaust was ever so slightly clogged up or something. Well, I think it's unclogging itself. It's definitely getting better. Around the roundabout. Gosh, I don't know how fling on. That's good. Now suddenly I feel confident that the brakes are better. It doesn't feel like it's dragging anymore. When I first got this car, I set off from the yard with it and I had a kind of a squeak from the back. I thought, oh, what's that? And then I noticed that the new disc on the back had a bit of wear on it already. And my assumption was that perhaps it had a bit of grit or something trapped in there. Maybe it's been through a really big puddle. Nope, I think it's sticking again a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, here's something. Right, so it obviously takes a bit of time before we get the problem come through. I can feel it sticking there. And then just coming to a halt. Yeah, it just stops rather than just free-wheeling. So I've got more to do, I guess. Oh, no, it is a bit hot. It's not really hot though. Yeah. Sometime later on. It's freed off again. I took the caliper back off and wound back the piston ever so slightly and sprayed in a load of WD-40 because I did ask. I asked Mark at the garage his advice and he went, try this. And that's basically it. It's the only thing it can be. The only thing this can be is the caliper, the piston itself, sticking. So maybe it'll just be okay having some water displacement stuff in there. Maybe it won't. We'll soon find out. Looks like good news. The lubing up of the piston appears to have done the job because it's braking and stopping and then just rolling freely again. I just hope that the next issue, which I can now hear, isn't going to be something too bad. Have a listen. It's doing that. Anyway, if I don't do any more on this video, then bye-bye. Thanks for watching and thanks for subscribing. Thanks for being channel member. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm 90 95% sure that the brakes are now fixed. And the other thing is, as well, as I've popped out this evening, that little chirrupy sound that was going on with the engine has gone away. It started doing it and I thought, what could it be? What could it be? Anyway, and I just carried on going and it's fine. Obviously the concern will be something like, oh, it's a pulley about to fall apart, or a tensioner, or even worse, a tensioner. Oh no, that's the sound gone again. That's the second time so far in this video. Oh dear, I'm sorry. Now that I'm feeling confident that this car is actually okay again, all I've got to worry about now is the hole in the floor pan. Well, that funny sound's come back, but I'm not going to bother myself too much about that because I'll investigate it next week, I guess. Anyway, last night I thought I'd wander off out and make myself a little video about the Aurora, and there wasn't really much to it, so here it is. Well, here I am, up Blackson Edge, again because this evening we are treated to the Northern Lights. But as usual, you can't see it because people want to turn the lights off. I can see red on the screen, which are these tail lamps. Seriously. Look at that. It is. What a spectacular moon. Yeah, this is pointless. Absolutely pointless. The people of that... Video's not picking it up too well, but the camera really is. Wow, this has really been worth it. Some of these shots are just fabulous. Have a look. That is spectacular. It's just lights in the sky, but so what? To actually see it with your own eyes like that is something else, and see such vivid colours. Well, I've seen vivid colours before, but I interrupted my video editing, which I started at nearly 10 o'clock, just to come up and have a look. And I was expecting to be disappointed, but I'm not at all. As soon as I got away from all those people that were leaving the lights on, the camera could pick it up. I couldn't really see it before because there was too much interference. People are aren't they? People really are. Honestly, I used to believe that most people were kind of about the same intelligence, really. It's just that some happen to be quite imaginative. Now I know it's not the case. Did you enjoy that? Probably not.